Hi, this is Doug Fields with another short youth ministry training tape. This Leaders Are Learners tape is an important training tape since all youth workers are teachers in some way. You may not be a regular upfront teacher at youth group or Sunday school, but you're always teaching students about Christ if you're in youth ministry. This tape, How to Teach So Students Will Listen, is about teaching students in general and in all settings. It's not about the specific mechanics of putting a lesson together. Now, that'll be another tape. But it's about asking important questions that will help us be better teachers in front of crowds, as well as stronger one-on-one teachers to students. Regardless of your teaching responsibilities, I want to say thank you for taking a few minutes to be taught yourself. Good teachers are good learners, and good learners are leaders. Remember, the moment you stop learning, you will stop leading. And this tape is intended to help you become a better leader through stronger communication. I sure don't claim to be the best teacher to students on the planet, but I have learned some simple questions that have helped me immensely with my teaching attitude. And I want to dig into these 3 questions that need to be asked to become the type of teacher that students will listen to. Question number 1 is this. We've got to be asking, who am I speaking to? Every time I prepare to teach, regardless of the size of the group or the setting, I think about what type of student am I trying to teach. Even if I'm talking to a student one-on-one, I'm trying to identify what type of student is this. My mind breaks students into 3 broad categories. The first type of student is what I call a seeker student. The second would be a stumbling student. And the third would be a sold-out Christian student. So we've got a seeker, a stumbler, and one who's sold out. The seeker is the one who is genuinely searching for truth and trying to discover if God is who he claims to be. In a broad sense, the seeker is the non-believing student. Now, the stumbling student is one who has a relationship with Jesus Christ but has fallen away. He's struggling, he's inconsistent, apathetic. Basically, this is the student who has a tough time integrating his faith with his daily lifestyle. And the sold-out student is the one who's totally committed to Christ, and she's hungry to grow. By asking this question, who am I speaking to, it will impact your content, your delivery, and possibly the style of your teaching. There are few teaching experiences that have been more defeating and frustrating than when I've spoken for other youth ministries who have not correctly identified their audience for me ahead of time, and I've prepared messages for sold-out students, and I come to find out their group is filled with seekers and stumblers. And I see this same frustration with some of the teachers at our church who either don't ask the question, who am I speaking to, or they fail to get a correct answer when thinking through their audience. As you ask this question, who am I speaking to, make sure your answer becomes a filter for how you prepare your message. For example, if I'm going to speak to stumblers, they're going to have different spiritual needs and questions than the seeker or the student who's sold out. Now, if you find yourself in a difficult situation of teaching all 3 types of students, you can either focus on one audience and make it very clear who you're teaching. You let them know who the message is geared towards. For example, you might say, I realize we have seekers and those who are stumbling in their faith and some who are sold out to Christ, but this lesson is especially geared for those who are stumbling. Or, what I most often do when I have this mixed audience is I alter my application or my action steps to be specific for each audience type. For example, if I'm teaching on forgiveness, I might have 3 different action steps and or challenges for each of my 3 audiences. For example, I might say, if you're a seeker, I want to challenge you to list all the areas of your life where you need to be forgiven. And if you're a stumbler, I want to challenge you to read these 2 verses every night this week and think about why God might want to forgive you and draw close to you. And if you're sold out for Christ, I want to challenge you to journal every day this week about thankfulness and how thankfulness might accompany forgiveness. You see, each type of audience gets a different type of application. Who am I speaking to?